What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sammy's Place. I am Sam A. Today we're going to get into two albums because I don't have a lot to say about these albums, but yeah, I still want to acknowledge these albums because they are really solid fucking albums. Both Deborah Cox, The Morning After, and Toni Braxton, More Than a Woman. More Than a Woman is definitely, I want to say it's definitely Toni's most slept on album, but then there's also Libra. But I feel like people kind of appreciated Libra a lot more. Anyway, so I guess we'll start off with Toni Braxton. Came out November 18th, 2002. So we're celebrating 20 years. Both of these albums kicked off with the lead single, Hit the Freeway, Neptunes featuring Pharrell, obviously. Really dope start to an album. I had no idea she was even returning at this point. I was just dabbling in music a lot, anywhere and everywhere. And came across that. Checking out the music store, seeing her album there, so I didn't buy it, but I heard it, and this is an album that grew on me within time. Instantly fell in love with Let Me Show You the Way Out. Now there's not many, like, I guess you could say, bangers on this album, but I feel like this was more melodically done well with what they did vocally. It was very Brandy-ish, and come to find out that yes, she was involved in the songwriting process with the songs, a lot of the songs actually. And for the longest time, bro, I always said these songs give me fucking Brandy. Come to find out, the Brandy. I guess she was arranging all the vocals and shit behind scenes to a lot of these albums. She also did the same for like Kylie Dean and stuff, and she was busy those few years. Yeah, as I said, there's not many bangers on there, but the songs in total were fucking such an experience as a listener. Even then, when I was young, I was so appreciative of the vibe and energy that this album gave. Like Rock Me, Roll Me. That, it's such a fucking, I don't even know, you get taken away somewhere else while listening to the song, and that's one of my favorite songs on the album. And then there was like Selfish and Always. Those songs were like my favorite off the album, but the album altogether was a nice effort, especially for its time with R&B and the way music was. It offered something very special. Out of all the Toni albums, it sounds nothing. There's not another album that sounds like that. It's one of my favorites from Toni, that's for sure. November was a busy month that year. There was a lot of good albums that came out. That's Miss Jade, TLC, Missy Elliott, and then Deborah Cox, The Morning After. Now I knew this one was coming, and I was waiting for it. Deborah Cox is obviously a Canadian R&B singer, well known for her single Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. I grew up listening to her. Not really, but in the background, because my sister and my mom would play Deborah Cox all the time. So when it came to this album, this is where I caught on as a fan. When I first heard the first single, Up and Down, it caught my attention. I was like, okay, let's see what Deborah Cox, because it was interesting for me to hear people that I grew up on because of my sister and my mom, but really wasn't into musically, come with something that would then please me as a listener, being at that age and what they were doing musically. So I was curious as to what the album entirely was going to sound like, given that the lead single I enjoyed very much. It was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. R&B was in such a great state in 2002. It was given so much fresh quality shit that it was so fucking good. A lot of my favorite albums come from 2002. Anyways, yeah, and then so the album The Morning After, producers like Dark Child was on there, Jermaine Dupri. I loved the Jermaine Dupri track. So when I first listened to the album, it was great. I used to go to CD Warehouse. I just moved to this area, and there was a store here. I don't know if it's elsewhere or whatever, but it was called CD Warehouse. Would always listen to these at the listening station, and just came out, went and bought it, listened to the album in full at home. It lost me halfway, I would say, as much as I do like the album. The dance cuts and stuff like that just weren't really necessary for me. I feel like if she stayed more to the R&B sound, it would have been a lot better. There was really good options for singles, but I don't know why they didn't continue with the promotion of the album, I guess. All I know is that we got the Up and Down song, and then the remix, the All-Star remix, which also features Jadakiss. I don't know why they didn't choose Like I Did as a single. Dark Child produced it, and Like I Did was one of those songs that I said, that I used as an example when Rodney was giving out the sound, the Brandy sound, to everybody. there was Third Story, Deborah Cox, Brandy, Like I Did, I Thought, and what was it? Get With Me. You Should Get With Me, or some shit like that. And they all sound the same, like literally the exact same structure of the song, in the verses, in the build up in the chorus, in the pre-hook, blah 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 blah, all that shit. So I totally get why she was mad. I'd be mad as shit too, coming up with some fresh, like, futuristic sound, only to be giving that to other people. But I guess that was a way where he kind of became even bigger in the music industry, was by everybody getting on his signature sound, because it did become Darkchild's signature sound. And then there was Hurt. Was it Hurt No More? I believe it's called. Another favorite of mine. The Morning After. I believe that was a second single. I don't know if I would have chosen that as a single, but yeah, I fucking love the song. So the way it's so beautifully written, you know, two friends kind of get to it, and then it's kind of like, oh, this is awkward the next morning. Giving It Up was another nice one. Just a Dance was a nice, catchy track. And I believe the other one I enjoyed was Oh My Gosh. The album was good. I just feel she lost me with the dance tracks, and there was just some songs that were like, you know. But I guess other people could appreciate those ones. Anyways, just wanted to touch on these albums because I know there are a lot of fan favorites, and Deborah Cox certainly doesn't get the recognition that we all, if not I, feel she deserves. She's definitely one of the most talented, and especially strongest vocally that we have in the industry. And it's a shame we never got that trio. What was it? Kelly Price, Tamia, and Deborah Cox. I forget what it was called, but they were doing a project and it didn't come through. But they recorded some tracks, and there's a video out there, I believe, with them singing.
Before I sign off, I also want to mention about the Toni Braxton album that there was some sort of like issues with promotion because she got pregnant. I remember, I don't know how true that is. I think she said that the label pulled the plug on the project because she ended up, like, she couldn't promote it because she was pregnant. And, you know, labels then didn't want a pregnant woman. They felt like it wasn't appealing in any way. Same thing happened to, I'm pretty sure it was Brandy during the Full Moon era, but yet they kind of did what they could with it. You know, it was smart of them to document her pregnancy and stuff on, I think it was MTV. It was a very different time. You couldn't get pregnant and put out music back then, especially already being a well-established artist. Different times. Until next time.